I find that sometimes artists are pressurized to have impact. Like, what's the impact? What's the need? What are you changing? Sometimes we just want to make art.
If you have the privilege of being around a creative person, the biggest thing you could do for them is allow them to express themselves as freely as possible.
Every emerging artist has a seed. The reason why most people don't get to a Sekoya stage is because we don't have enabling environments.
The creative industry is as dynamic as it is ungoverned.
One of the first things I'd say for people who are doing funding or financing for arts is expand the way you look at an artist. People want to go produce songs, but they have to be a certain theme to get money. Why can't you just give me money to do the song, right? And I think we will get better art that way, rather than forcing people to fit in this mold of you have to make impact. I think forcing impact actually works against impact, because then I don't really mean it. I don't even want that cause, but that's where the money is, so I have to mold myself to that.
I'm looking at my reflection, an angel.
My happiness is a revolution enough in this world.
So let creatives create.
I want this organization to provide a canopy for artists to be able to grow, to be sustainable, but then not just to be shrubs, to also become sequoias, so that we can all become like a forest and we keep providing canopies for other people.
I think the biggest gift anyone can give themselves is to try. You know, if you're willing to try, the resources come. Many of us have ideas, but we get stuck in that idea phase. We feel there are not enough opportunities for everyone. So if I tell you this, what if you then go and get the thing that I wanted? But I believe what's for you is for you.
No matter what you say, I'll be moving. No matter which way, I'm improving. 'Cause I'm never losing. I'll be moving. No matter what you say, I am moving. No matter which way, I'm improving. No, I'm never losing. I'm looking at my reflection, the changes I can mention. I'm looking at back home, feel like now ni gotta me mention.
I'm Timothy Masharia. My friends call me Tim. I'm a creative entrepreneur, but that is, let me say, a very fancy way of saying I give creative consultancy, specifically in digital marketing, graphic design, and branding. I manage an agency, Creative Age Brands Limited, and we serve a good number of clients, but that is what I do on a day-to-day basis. At Sekoya, I am a mentor at Sekoya. I have participated in giving, a masterclass with my very able friend and colleague, Olivia Ambani. But yeah, we did a masterclass with Olivia, and at the beginning of 2024, I joined Sekoya as an advisory committee member, and so far it's been an amazing year. So beginning of the year was a much busier time for Sekoya, and during that time it was coming together, basically, what does the calendar look like? What are the different, activities we feel we should introduce to this program to make it even more productive, more helpful for the creatives that we're working with. The other part is actually the main role of the advisory members was to bring in our expertise, to bring in our resources, to bring in our contacts to support the activity that Sekoya is doing. So as far as that is concerned, all across the year activities, the calendar activities that we've had, different mentors have come on board based on the context that the advisory members have shared. There have been different, application to sponsorship programs, to grants that has also been supported by this committee. But overall, it has been how can we improve? It's like an outside eye on the actual operations of Sekoya, and giving a better, let me say, an outside view on how things could go on better. So that has been primarily it. I believe we are refining the process in terms of what more can be done with the capacity that we have. Number one, to increase that capacity, but also number two, to make sure that we maximize on what we have. So it has been a bit of that. I want to say I'm a different, just the same way a team has different strengths. My strength has been very different from others. There's some amazing guys I've met who have given invaluable feedback to the committee. So yeah, even it's to some extent, it's happy to be here. The creative industry is as dynamic as it is, let me say, ungoverned. I wish creative work was so much more valuable. If you were to compare how much, creatives in different spaces, if you were to compare how much they make on a global scale, it's wanting. It's very, very wanting. But the point of Sekoya is it's not impossible. The equipping that we do, or that the programs seek to do for these young creatives, the point is to get us to that global standard. It's interesting. I was just having a conversation with a creative that I work with, and we agreed that we are very good at what we do. Kenyans, for example, are very competitive. Wherever you go, you can pick out a Kenyan just by virtue of how hardworking, or let me say, the word is kujituma, but of how much one is a jituma. So in as far as the ability to do things is concerned, Kenyans are there. But what's lacking is the skill set. It's the mindset that it will take to reach those levels, and the exposure that we need, very much need. So I think if Sekoya, or rather when Sekoya does this for another couple of years, I believe that we'll have a creative force that is so much better equipped to identify, reach out to, and pick these opportunities that are out there, scale our services, scale our, let me say, our outreach to a global space where we can get very well compensated for the creative effort that we put in. So I think Sekoya is the bridge between the potential that young creatives have, which is immense. I can't begin to talk about the potential that young creatives have. So it's bridging the gap between that potential and the, let me say, the resources and the wealth that is out there in as far as creative work, creative activities are concerned. So bridging this gap is the main job. It won't take one day, 1 year. It's a complex problem in itself, but I believe that's where Sekoya is going. In the next couple of years, we can be able to point at creatives who, thanks to these programs, thanks to these activities, they're on a global platform doing the most.
My name is Olivia Mbani. I'm a singer-songwriter and founder of Money Conversations. I'm just a passionate creative when it comes to sharing knowledge, which is why I started my series Money Conversations. In my journey as an artist, there was so much like Googling and searching on YouTube to try and figure out what to do. And so that's how I ended up connecting with Sekoya when they reached out to me about facilitating a workshop. My journey has been interesting. So I studied communication and new media because I wanted to be in the media. I wanted to be, I guess, a speaker or a journalist. And then I decided, you know what, my actual passion is to do music. And so I figured out how to do that around 2013. So I had been auditioning for talent shows and trying to get signed. And then I was like, you know what, I can figure this out for myself and become an independent artist. And I think that decision literally changed my life. And it's informed so much of what I do. And here I am today. Many of us have ideas, but we get stuck in that idea phase. And I think the biggest gift anyone can give themselves is to try. You know, if you're willing to try, the resources come. But normally we want the other way. You're like, let me see the plan, let me see the resources, then I'll move. But I find like my belief system is like, okay, you have this idea. Yes, you can have like a general plan, but then move. Because if you do not move, I feel then your idea doesn't come to pass. People are afraid and they have a limited mindset. We're told someone will steal our idea. Okay, steal it. I'll still do my idea. Like I always say, if everyone wanted to be a singer, they can, and we'll still all have an audience. So I think just expanding our opinion around like access to finance or access to opportunity, like me sharing my idea with you will not stop my idea from flourishing. If anything, it can help. And we have more heads now helping me make the idea. So just expanding that. And I think also, I don't know if it's an African thing or what, because in my culture, they say, don't tell someone, they will, they'll say, oh, someone will put witchcraft on your idea or they'll roga you or something. So there's that fear. And I really believe that, yes, there could be that aspect, but there's wisdom. We have intuition. You can sense people and you can tell, this one no, this one yes. And if say it's something like that happens, you know better now. But I think also the basis of it is mainly we feel there are not enough opportunities for everyone. So if I tell you this, what if you then go and get the thing that I wanted? But I believe what's for you is for you. How do you make art make financial sense? I think I'd like to take a few steps back. Firstly, it's in the mindset that we have around art. And artists themselves have around money. So I think there's this limiting belief, I'll call it, that you cannot make money from your art in a way that you enjoy. So there's a phrase of like, oh, you have to sell out to make, good money from your art. I don't believe that at all. I'm making money from my art, creating music the way I love. And I think that's the first thing that as artists, we need to change our mindsets and understand you can create money from the art that you love. Because when you don't think that that's possible, you're going to believe that the only way I can make money is I have to do something that I don't like, that's not true to my art. And so you'll make very different decisions. And then the second thing is also just as artists expanding our ability to take in knowledge about finance. We are more than capable. We run businesses, whether we agree to it or not. Art is a business. And so just being open to learning more about financial literacy for our personal selves and for our business. Because when we are open to that, that's when now the art can make money for you. And so those are two things I say, the mindset, believing that what I do can make me money in a way that is fulfilling for me, and then expanding my knowledge around money. And then now, how does it now affect the actual art? If you're aware of like financial literacy basics, like you need to make sure you're tracking your expenses and your income, you're sending invoices to your clients when you do your work. When you have that, then you're able to build a business around it. But for many of us as creatives, sometimes it's like, okay, I have a gig, I'm booked, wonderful. It's just word of mouth, maybe not even a WhatsApp, there's no tracking. And then you don't know how much money you're making. It's always so amazing. When you ask people, they say, oh, they don't think they're making money, but it's because they haven't tracked. So I think it's those habits that are important. And then from there, then we can now go to the business side of how do you register your business? What sort of accounting things do you need to do? But the first thing is really those habits that I feel everyone should have, not just artists. From my experience, I think it starts off by everyone understanding what part they actually want to play. Because there's some people who are into doing art for impact. There are those who are into doing art for fun. those who are into doing art because they're like, I have to make money, like there's a figure. So I think the first thing is understanding what role you actually want to play rather than accepting a role someone has given you. Because when you're clear, okay, I'm in this just to make money, fine, then your decisions will be based on that. But if someone just wants to make money and then you're forcing them to make impact, the thing is it's unnatural to them. They don't even want to do it. So I say first focus on the thing you actually want to do. And then once you're comfortable with that, then maybe you might be like, oh, I've made the money. Now I'm open to impact. And I think in terms of society, it's also for us to challenge our view of how people choose to make their money or how they choose to show up. I find that sometimes artists are pressurized to have impact. Like, what's the impact? What's the need? What are you changing? Sometimes we just want to make art. And that is good enough. You know, I'm happy. My happiness is a revolution enough in this world, you know. And so I think that's the first place. Let's accept what we want to do and also the society to be more open to that. And I think when that happens, because we're all a part of a massive body, if the person who's doing impact is allowed to do impact and the person who's doing business is allowed to do business and those who just want to do it for fun, and we accept all those, then the ecosystem will flow. Because everybody is aligned in what they're supposed to do. So I think that is actually the sweet spot. And when people accept what they want to do, then they expand. They're like, okay, I'm comfortable. Now what else can I explore? So I think that's where the sweet spot will be. For instance, I'm very passionate about, you know, artists and money. Someone else is more interested in like climate change, or someone else is just about well-being. And we need that. If all of us were doing money, who's going to the well-being? So I think we should allow ourselves to show up as we are meant to show up, and that's when our ecosystem is going to work. One of the first things I'd say for people who are doing funding or financing for arts is expand the way you look at an artist. One of the limiting things I find is we are forcing artists to do impact, and that's where a lot of the money is, if it's climate change, whether it's activism. So then you force an artist to have to do something that they don't want to do. A model I really love is, like, for instance, Mr. Easy with Empower Africa that I was a beneficiary of. He basically gave us money to do a music video, right? He didn't dictate what the music video, he didn't say it. It was like, you apply, you get in, here's the money. If you do the video or not, it's on you, but here is the money. And so it was freedom. All I had to do was enter. And then when I got in, they gave us like $3,000, $500 they retained for marketing, $2,500 was given to us to do a music video. I decide my own concept. It was the most freeing experience of receiving money. I didn't have to give a report, nothing. Just give us the video, then we'll have it on our YouTube channel, on the Empower Africa YouTube channel. So I wish more funders could think like that. For instance, there's so much need. People want to go produce songs, but they have to be a certain theme to get money. Why can't you just give me money to do the song, right? And I think we will get better art that way, rather than forcing people to fit in this mold of you have to make impact. I think forcing impact actually works against impact, because then I don't really mean it. I don't even want that cause, but that's where the money is. So I have to mold myself to that. So number one, funders need to expand how they give money. Secondly, funders need to talk to artists. What are my needs? Not what you think my needs are, right? So for instance, people maybe need access to gear, or maybe they need access to, for instance, platforms. Musicians right now, a couple in the continent struggle to get their music distributed. So they don't know that they can go on DistroKid or other distribution aggregators to have their music. Maybe because they don't have bank cards or debit cards. So what if we funded that? You know, so firstly, when you're funding, think of the need. Go to the ground and say, what is your actual need? Not, I am telling you what you need. And then the second thing is to just have more conversation around money, basic finance. You know, not around business, but just around finance. Because as artists, we navigate a lot. There is the business you're running, there is your family, there's your emotions, there's health. We need more financial literacy that is not tied to a business. And that's something that I'm very specific on. When I do financial literacy classes, I start with personal. I'm like, what are your money habits? What is your relationship with money? Because it will affect the way in which you run your business, anyone, whether you're an artist or not. So if we could just push for financial literacy, right? In the beginning, it's going to benefit you whether you choose to be an artist or not. And so we're giving money to people, but they don't know how to manage the money. So we also need to improve that. And then I guess the third one is for us to not do a hit and run when it comes to like projects. I find like people come, they do a project, wonderful, I have my impact report, gone. Come back or create a community that can last. We've done these projects, people have done, and then it builds momentum in the second year, but the project was only funded for 1 year. And so when you're actually going to see the impact, it's not there. So thinking about how it can be more sustainable by actually creating spaces where creatives can talk more, like maybe funding Sekoya to actually be the space that, just does that. And being comfortable with conversation being enough. Because most of the times, like, show me the money, show me the numbers. Yes. But we need spaces that are safe for artists to be able to come and share their needs and say what they're doing. And then it's like a cycle. Because now when we're having these conversations, when you're looking where to put the money, because you have the data.
While companies, organizations, people might not have a group or an individual that they call an advisory member, I believe everyone speaks to someone or goes somewhere to get advice or to find out more about what they could do, what they could improve. Basically, speak to someone. If it was more targeted, for example, having a creative advisor, I believe every organization has that duty and that mandate to listen, right? This could be a stereotype, but I feel like creatives are seen as a by the way. And maybe we could attribute that to why the industry has taken a minute to take off. I think there is wisdom in listening to someone who is very good at something and weigh that against either what is happening, what facts or data you're working with, rather than what I feel, because that is what I have felt. This Sekoya has not been that, which is why I think it's an amazing example. Advice that we give, tips that we give, practical steps that we give, they're not done as a meeting, as a boardroom meeting. This is a working session where this input will go into what will actually be done eventually. So I think there's a space for creatives that should allow them to have a say or have input in what you would call the big decisions that are being made. Think about it though. We are surrounded by adverts. We are surrounded by media. All of us are on our phones, right? We're interacting with digital content. These are things that have had a creative input behind them. Whether it's visible, whether it's obvious, whether it's not, there has been some creative input.
Whoever you are, whether you're creative or otherwise, choose to live a life that you love, that makes you happy. Pursue your dreams now, don't wait for retirement. And even if you have retired, it's never too late to sing or paint or learn about finance. Never be ashamed about learning. If there are people shaming you in your life for things, delete them. You don't need them in your life. Life is for enjoying and for living in a way that makes sense to you. And so I hope that that's what you choose to do.
But this is our road, and y'all are my people, no matter where we go, never